Alright, now in this video I will show you how you can use these images to create this composition. Before I start editing this, I want to show you this. This is the size that I'm going to use. It's like widescreen image. And before I start cutting out all the images, I made this raw cut. As you can see, I just made like this fast cut of everything so I can check if it fits in the composition. So I have like one background layer. I'm gonna use this sky for the composition, and this I'm gonna use the grass only, so I'm gonna remove that later. And this book I'm gonna use, and this little guy here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna make a good cut of everything here, and after that I'm gonna blend everything together. Okay, now I got a good selection of everything now. Remove the backgrounds here and got everything in folders here so I don't mess it up. So let's start with the background here. So this grass, I'm only going to use the bottom part. So let's start with creating mask here. After that you can press D on your keyboard to have white to black here. And let's select the gradient tool. Now you want to click on the mask here, and after that hold down shift and make like this little line. Now it's the other way around because I want to use the grass instead of the sky, and we're gonna do it like this until I have something that looks nice. Okay, I think this looks nice, and you won't see that road anywhere there, so I'm just gonna leave it like this. And let's put this back. Now this grass goes a little bit up, so I want to flatten this, so I'm gonna press Ctrl T or Command T on Mac and hold down shift and just make it like that. And let's make this bigger so we can put it more up. Alright, let's start with creating shadows here. So this is our book. Let's create a shadow here. I'm gonna create a new layer and put it underneath the book layer. Make sure it's in the folder. And after that I'm gonna go to brushes, select the soft round brush and make this smaller. And let's put opacity around 80-90%. And make sure you have black selected as a color. And after that I'm gonna draw like a little line underneath it. That's where the book touches the ground. So that's where it needs like this hard shadow. Now let's create a bigger shadow underneath it. So I'm dropping down the opacity to around 20%, 10-20%, and select like a dark green color from the grass, so somewhere here, make it like really dark green. And let's create a new layer, change the blending mode to multiply, and let's make darker areas here. Now I'm gonna select the book layer and click on the mask of it, go to the brushes. Now if you go to default brushes, you have the grass brush here. It's like in every Photoshop version, so if you just search there you'll find it, and bring up the opacity and flow. Click on this to open up the settings, and now I'm going to make sure to deselect color dynamics and make sure it's not that big, a little bit smaller. And let's brush the bottom part of the book. Alright, let's duplicate this book layer. So I'm just dragging it to this icon here and create a new layer on top of it. Hold down shift, select both layers and press Command to Ctrl E. So we have this duplicated layer. Press Command to Ctrl U to bring up the hue saturation and drop the lightness. After that you can just go to edit, transform, flip vertical, and drag it to the bottom, put it underneath the book. Press Ctrl T, and while holding down Command you can just stretch it out like that. So I'm gonna leave it like this and drop the opacity here. After that I'm gonna create a mask. Select the gradient tool, make sure you have white to black, black to white, doesn't matter. Click on the mask of it and make like this line. Alright, let's blend this boy in. He's way too orange now, so I'm gonna create a hue and saturation layer on top of the boy's layer. Press this and drop the saturation here. Now he's also way too bright, so I'm gonna go to curves, create the curves layer on top of it, press this again, and now I can drop the midtones here and the highlights. like that. And now I'm gonna select all these layers while holding shift, duplicate them, press Ctrl or Command E. So you have the duplicated layer, press Ctrl U again and bring down the lightness. So you have a black silhouette of it, flip it vertical, move it down, put it underneath the layer and press Ctrl T, and while holding down Command, I will just make the same shadow as with the book. So I want to make sure it's going that way. Something like that. After that I'm gonna make a mask. Select the gradient tool again and get rid of the last part. Just slightly, and drop the opacity. Alright, now this is a little bit too dark, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna decrease this opacity. It's a little bit more light now. Alright, let's edit the grass. It's way too green now because we have night scene going on and you won't see that much color at night. So I'm gonna create the hue saturation on top of it. Press this and drop the opacity, or drop the saturation. Something like this. You can really drop this down. And same goes for the book. Let's create a hue and saturation here. And this time I'm gonna drop down the lightness. So it's really white now. I don't want it like that. Let's leave it like this. And maybe a little bit of the saturation. Alright, let's do the same with the sky. We can even move this really down here. If you don't want to see the mountains there, you can also do it like this. Doesn't really matter, it's really a choice what you want to do with it. So let's leave it like this for now. Alright, let's edit this book because I want to create like some sort of part in it that's going that way. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna select this book and I'm just gonna brush. So I'm gonna select the black brush here, just a normal brush, and get rid of this part. So make like this soft edge, like we have something there. Okay, now I got this image that I want to put inside this book. So I'm just gonna select this all, copy it, and let's put it above the book layer because I want to make this road like going out of this page of this book. Just gonna drop the opacity here so I can see where I'm gonna put it. So something like this. I want to make sure this road is going like a little bit out of the book. Make sure these edges from this road are at the edge of this page of this book. So this looks fine. And let's bring back the opacity here. And let's make a mask. Now I can just brush these parts away so I can see this better. You can even make a hard edge on the book. So you need to make a clear cut of this page. But I think I'm gonna leave it like this for now. And let's use the clone stamp tool to extend this road. So I'm gonna rasterize this layer from the book. Apply layer mask. Now I can just extend this road. I'm just holding out Alt, copying this road and make it like that. Just a little bit extra. I'm gonna make a mask here and brush these parts away again. Alright, we need to edit these colors from this book, from this page. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna create a hue saturation here. Select this and bring the saturation down. Like that. And it's too light now, so I'm gonna do some curves here also. Like that. Maybe you don't even need to do this. I can remove this. I think this looks even better. Let's edit the levels here also from this castle. Make sure you press this. Alright, what we can do now is we can even place this boy a little bit inside the book. I think this will even look better. A little bit smaller, like that. And you can also flatten this slightly. So it looks more real now. Alright, let's edit this page. I want to make sure this sky is the same color as this page. So I'm gonna go to the book here and slightly edit this. Something like that. All right, let's create some mist here. I'm gonna create a new folder on top of everything. Let's name this mist. And I'm gonna use one of these brushes. I will link these brushes in the video here. Create a new layer. Select white as a color. And let's make some mist around this book. And I'm also gonna do some clouds here in the sky. Okay, I still wanna extend this road like it's going outside the book all the way here. So what I'm gonna do here is I have this castle folder with this castle, and I'm just gonna drag it here. So I duplicate this, press Ctrl E to flatten this, and after that let's make a smart object, because the quality will be ruined if I don't do that, and press Ctrl T to resize it, and let's put it like that. Let's make this really big. So I'm only focusing on this bottom part here, and let's make a mask, and let's brush these parts away. So I'm just gonna extend this road a little bit more on the grass here. Can even make this bigger and stretch it like that. So it all comes down to brushing, 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 and waiting until you get something that looks right. So what I'm doing here is I drop the opacity of this layer so I can bring back a couple parts so it blends in better with the grass here. Just a little bit. Okay, now I got this torch image. You can find all these images in the description of this video. And I'm gonna resize this and give this boy this torch. So we can make this scene really dark and lighten up these areas from this torch. So let's put it like that. And let's put it underneath the boy layer, like he's holding it in his hands. Like that. And now maybe even bigger, so we can create more lighting from this torch. Now let's create a curves layer on top of everything. So I'm just gonna create curves, and I don't have to do this because I want to affect all the layers now. So I'm gonna drop the midtones here and increase the highlights. So now we have this really night scene going on. And let's make some lighting from this torch. So I'm gonna go to this boy layer. Let's make a new folder on top of it, and let's name this lighting. Let's create a new layer, select the brush, and this time I'm gonna use something like yellowish, like this. Bring the opacity and flow all the way up, make a little dot like that, and this is gonna be the lighting from the torch. Change the blending mode to screen. This is like the place where it's really hot on this torch, and let's drop the opacity here. Let's make another layer, and this time I'm gonna use more orange color. This is what I'm gonna use for reflections. So I'll make a dot again and change the blending mode to overlay. Bring down the opacity, and we need to create some reflections here. So I'm gonna duplicate this layer and put it underneath it. So now you have like this lighting underneath him from this torch. Let's edit these curves a little bit more. You can even make it like this, so it looks like it's really misty or something. So try to edit this slightly and see what happens to the image. Okay, now I got this tiger and I want to use this also in this composition, so I'm gonna make a smart object here, and let's put this tiger behind this little boy, like he's following him inside this book. So let's make this like a big tiger here, and we need to blend this in. So what I'm gonna do here is let's put this in a folder and let's do some curves here, so we can make this tiger dark like that. And after that we can make some areas lighter because we have this torch here, and I want to make sure it's going, the light is going like in his face, it's reflecting a little bit here, maybe a little bit like that. And you can see this tiger has like this white line around it, so I want to get rid of that. So I'm just gonna hold down Control or Command, press on this layer, so I have this selection, then go to select, modify contract, and let's leave it at 1 pixel, so it goes 1 pixel inside this layer, and select the right mouse, select inverse, and just press delete. Well, you gotta rasterize it, and after that just press delete. So now we got rid of that white line around it. Right, this tiger also needs a shadow, so what I'm gonna do here is gonna select both of these layers, duplicate them, press Ctrl Command E, so I have this duplicated layer, press Ctrl U, bring down the lightness, and flip this horizontal, vertical, and move it to that side, because I want to make sure it's going the same direction as the shadow of this little kid. It doesn't have to be really precise, it's just a little shadow that makes it looks more real, something like this. And drop the opacity, makes a lot of difference. Alright, let's move this where we want it to have, and can even add a little bit more shadow underneath this tiger. So I'm just gonna use a brush here and bring the opacity and flow down, just a little bit of dark areas around it to make it look more real. And if you really want to go into details, you can always create like this hard shadow underneath the paws, so like this. Let's do some levels here on the tiger, so I can have a little bit more contrast. And now I can just move this tiger around till I find the right spot where I can place him. Now I can even make this better. So if I want to make this better, I will also do some reflections from this torch on this kid and on this tiger. And let's see if we can do that. I'm gonna create a new layer here and add some red orange to it, to these areas here. Okay, I got this moon image and I'm gonna add this in the background. So I'm just copying that and put it somewhere behind all these layers. Resize this and change the blending mode to screen. Leave the mountains there, I think it looks also nice. You can even extend this. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna duplicate this, and let's also add these mountains here. And I want to make sure you don't see a pattern here, so I'm just gonna flip this horizontal and stretch it out like that. Alright, let's do some lighting here. I'm gonna create a new layer on top of everything, and let's lighten up this moon. We can edit this grass. It's a little bit too light and it doesn't look right now because we have like this moon lighting now, and I'm assuming all the light is coming from this moon. So I'm gonna find the grass layer here, this one, and let's do some curves. Let's bring down the midtones. Let's make this dark like that, and let's lighten up some areas again, like around the moon. And we have like this blue lighting from the moon, so I'm also gonna make some blue areas here. and some final adjustments on the lighting here. So let's start with the book here. I'm gonna find this book. It's really messy now because I have so much layers now. I'm trying to find everything. There it is, the book, and we can do some curves here. So I'm gonna make this book darker, especially the midtones here, and bring back some parts lighter on this side, top side, and this side. So what I'm gonna do now is just some final adjustments to get the colors and lighting right. I'm gonna run this in Lightroom and add one of my presets. You can get these presets if you check the link in the description. So that is basically it. Thanks for watching. Hope you like this video. Don't forget the thumbs up and see you in the next video.